Like many of you watching this, I thought I made all the right choices. I went to school, I got good grades, I worked hard, I went to university, got my bachelor's degree in science, and then went further and did my master's degree in organic chemistry. And all this time, I was hearing from other people that science field is basically the best way to make sure that you have a stable job that pays well. And my own parents, they either wanted me to be a medical doctor or a scientist or an engineer. So it's not like I had a lot of options to choose from. So from the options that I had, I chose chemistry and biotech because I kept hearing that there's good money in biotech and you can make a good living. But little did I know that when I actually got there, that when I got into the biotech field, it didn't take me very long to realize that I had made biggest mistake of my life. I'd basically created my own prison and I was in it. I was miserable and I was so heartbroken. All that work, the investment of money, time, energy, effort, the sacrifices, what were they all for? Because I was feeling miserable. I was so unhappy and I'd only started my career. I was only there for a year. I couldn't bear watching myself. My body was already feeling sick. I had a sense of meaninglessness. I had a sense of boredom. And I didn't know how I would be able to be so devastated and continue working in this field. But the good news is, and the reason I'm here, is that I found a way out. And I know that you might feel stuck right now. You might feel like you have no options. But I want to tell you that you actually do. And I'm going to show you exactly what I did to give myself the option of getting out. My name is Mehrnaz, and I help high-achieving analytical professionals who find themselves stuck in an unfulfilling 9 to 5 create side hustles and side businesses to pave their way out of their employment. That's how I did it. That's how I created my freedom. And I want to show you that you can do it too. One day, by pure accident, one of my mom's friends found out that I have a science background and I was strong in science and math. So she asked my mom if I would be willing to help her daughter, who was in grade 8 math, with the concepts that she was learning in school because she was struggling. I'd never tutored before. I'd never explained any concepts to another individual. I'd gotten good grades, but it was all teaching myself. And I have a learning disability. I have auditory processing difficulties. So it was very difficult for me to sit in class and be able to actually understand what the teacher was teaching. I had a bunch of strategies and I perfected them, that they worked really well for me. So I had those tools and I realized that I had something special to offer. All the years of having to see what works for my own learning needs, now I could use those for somebody else, to help somebody else who was struggling. That tutoring session took place on a Sunday. And on Monday, when I went back to work, the unhappiness, the unfulfillment of that job that I was in just wouldn't go away. I could no longer ignore it. I could no longer keep shoving down my feelings of dissatisfaction. And I realized that I just want to go and tutor students. That's what I want to do. And looking back now, of course, teaching was one of my callings, because back in high school, I remember one of my friends asking me what I wanted to do. And everybody back then kept saying, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a scientist. I want to be a lawyer or a dentist. But I said, I want to be a teacher. But the thing is, my friend, I knew that he had my best interest at heart, but he said, you have more potential than just being a high school teacher. And it was something that I heard from my parents as well. And so I thought that I need to do more, that being a teacher wasn't enough. But then here I was a decade later, again, this feeling that I wanted to teach others was so strong, stronger than ever before. So what I did is I started to tutor her. I was getting paid $20 each session, but I didn't have a car back then because I had student loans to pay off. I had rent and everything. So I would take transit, which took an hour and a half to her place and then an hour and a half back. And for that whole time that I spent on going to her place, tutoring, coming back, I got paid $20. But I didn't care. It's almost like it didn't matter because I felt so good while I was teaching her. And it didn't stop with her. Through her, I was able to get other referrals. And I got more and more word of mouth referral. And another one of my mom's friends asked if I could tutor her child. And the more I told other people that I was tutoring and they could see the excitement in me, the word of mouth referrals kept coming. Next, it was one of my friends' brothers that asked if I could help her brother in math. And the word of mouth allowed me to take on enough students that I was able to cover about 1/3 of my expenses. Slowly over time, this took about 2 years, and I knew that there was demand. I knew that parents were willing to pay tutors to help their children achieve better grades, become more confident, improve their skills. Creating the side hustle allowed me to become more confident in myself and my skills in creating a business. It allowed me to experiment with the market and realize that there's actually opportunities in tutoring. And the more I helped students, the more testimonials I got and the more people trusted me, the more I could raise my price as well. For me, paving my way out of the miserable 9 to 5 through a side hustle was the perfect escape route because it not only allowed me to keep my income from my full-time job. On the side, I was building my confidence in being able to run a business. Us high achievers who have majored in analytical fields like sciences, engineering, architecture, they're already good at approaching situations logically and experiment through trial and error to see what works, what doesn't work, and to put our efforts into what works. We can see patterns, we can create metrics, test hypotheses. These are what we're trained for. And I realized that these are the exact skills I needed in creating a business. So in 2011, after I got laid off from my biotech job, I started my tutoring company and I hired other tutors to work with students so that I could spend my time growing the business. I haven't looked back. I have never felt that feeling of unfulfillment and dissatisfaction, that devastation, since I got laid off from my biotech job. And I feel so grateful that I have freedom in my life, that I have autonomy, that I have complete control of my schedule. And just like I helped students with their math and sciences, now I feel called to use my teaching skills to help other people who are feeling the way I was feeling in their 9 to 5 to create side hustles, to create side businesses, to start paving their way out. There's always going to be a lag between when you first realize that you made a mistake to the time where you realize there are options and there's something you can do about it. And if you shorten that timeline, in my experience, you torture yourself less and you create less harm to your physical and mental body. So if you're like me, back when I was in biotech, and you want to explore some option as side hustle, side businesses to start paving your way out, I've created the Side Hustle Clarity Blueprint, and you can access it in the description box below. Just remember that finding that right path for yourself will take some exploring. It will take some brainstorming on your part. But I hope that the blueprint will be your initial step in starting to find out more about yourself and what path you're meant to take. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it gave you some assurance that even though you're in a place that you're not very excited about right now, that you can create the life that you absolutely love. Until next time, take care.